out trying to tag onto the enemy rover to be able to suss out where the location is. But now you're facing up against a Kaja. Kaja should be able to poke the Cho relatively easily because don't forget, Cho is kind of short range as compared to a Kaja.
Now, as we do have Hades slowly making his way down to the bottom lane, Vendetta is only at level 2. So he doesn't really have a very good priority in this lane, as you can pretty much see. He's currently level 2 versus a level 3 glue. So not much of that early game roundabout kind of thing from Absolute Zero. They really actually kind of need the CC to join into the fight to really deal with the glue. I'm not too sure whether the yo-yo, because the yo-yo technically deals percentage-based damage based on HP. We'll talk about it later.
Kidnapping somebody from the side of Absolute Zero over to the other side, but the further airstrike, not enough damage to deal away with none, but it opens up for Flasg SG to be able to take control on the turtle pit.
Now, okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. CC's yo-yos deals damage based on the opponent's max HP.
Yep. It's a carry version of EXP.
So that means that CC is actually a very bad answer to a Xbox.
Yeah.
Hear me out.
Something like that, I guess.
So hear me out. For those people that may not really quite understand what I mean by that, right? When it comes down to Xbox, he has two forms of sustenance. Number one, his health. Number two, his armor. His armor is the one that takes more than 50% of his general sustenance, and the HP is quite literally the red bar. So if you ask, if you have to be really technical about it, his HP is really low. Which is why, if you use an execute onto an Xbox, even though he is very close, in terms of overall sustenance is lower than that 10%, you use execute, you don't kill him.
Hold on a second, you're telling me that red bar is actually his actual HP?
Yes, the red bar is his actual HP.
Does that work for Sky Piercer though?
Actually, if it's the same concept
really
as execute, it will be.
That was gonna be interesting, ladies and gents. But okay, right now, as we were talking about it, there's nothing much happening around the map. But okay, as I said, that diversion coming up from the side, Absolute Zero bringing in Nan and Buji. Now Ken this time around, the curtain call will be there. Buji tried to lock Ken down, but he will be able to try to escape.
Oh my goodness!
Last minute CC saves his life.
There's really not much the Vendetta can do in this lane. He even used his curtain call to really deal with the glue. So throughout this entire game, we'll probably have a little bit more information and you know, to visually see if Vendetta deals good damage over to Hades. Once Hades have gotten himself like the Oracle, himself the Immortality and all that kind of jazz to beef up the amount of Firaga armor he has.
Second turtle has spawned up. Don't forget Moskov right here does have the SOD. Can TP himself all the way down to the turtle fight just in case if he needs it, as long as he keeps his lane fulfilled. Right now you can see, you know, Rapidude nowhere to be seen by the side of Team Flash right now. They're walking in this one blind.
We do have 2v2 down on the turtle lane. However, Flash do have 2% that's very close to the turtle right there in the middle. While Absolute Zero, they don't really quite have too much resources that is actually going to be posted down in the bottom lane. In fact, we don't quite see Rapidude anywhere. In fact, I think that for the side of JPL all the way up to the top lane, it is more or less saw where the Kaja is.
Yeah, if you notice how Hades using the Flames throw to basically zone the members of Absolute Zero, baiting and pushing the members from the side of Absolute Zero away. We'll be able to secure that one, but now don't forget, Curtain Call will be committed. Absolute Zero, they walk away with nothing.
So, it's a very slow game. We're only 5 minutes into the game and it's currently 0-1. Both teams are sort of playing a little bit more towards objective. However, Absolute Zero, they understand that their winning condition does not necessarily lie in the early stages. So there's really not much reasons for them to go overly crazy. Even though we are talking about Buji that is playing as a Loi, he's not really using his diversion all that much because at this point in time, he's got to be real careful about clearing his middle lane first, as his middle lane is generally going to be a slower clear as compared to a Farsa plus a Cho.
And don't forget, Farsa can also wing by wings to rotate even faster as compared to Loi. Yes, technically speaking, Loi can use the diversion to get there anytime, but that's one massive ultimate being committed.
So currently with a total still left about 60 seconds until that eventually pops up. Team Flash themselves also doesn't seem to have also doesn't seem to be looking for these kind of opportunities despite their early game being not too shabby. Let's not forget about the fact that we're looking at a Baxia. Baxia does have very early game nutty damage with all of these shields, so if they initiate, they can do something.
Looking for a pick-off, Troll will be the one. JPL getting busted down with the help of Silas as well. SOD will be able to land. Vanix joining the fight right here, taking on the Sellers at the same time. Flamethrowers on the side of Hades. Nan trying to slow it down. Vanix will get taken down by Nan, and Ken possessing Vendetta as they run away. Hades, the last insanity, explodes onto Ken.
Katizi somehow managed to get himself away from all of that danger, even though that Baxia was literally right in the face of the Flasg doing the feathered airstrike. Quick little flicker, auto get her out of dodge. Even I myself from the spectator view can't even see where the Flasg was, to be very honest. But at least they did manage to catch a kill down on the Vanix as the very important critical latches him.
That's the one very good pick-off coming up on the side of Absolute Flash SG on the memo Absolute Zero. Would you get them taken down right there?
To survive 7 minutes of this game, Flash is the one that is going up for all this initiation play, as closing out the gaps as a Cho definitely is so much more easier as compared to a Kaja. Of course, the good thing about a Kaja is that it is a suppression skill. As such, bringing in a Purify is not gonna do anything for the team. As such, Team Flash, most of them have decided to opt for a Flicker, just so that they will be able to put some more gaps between themselves and the Kaja.
But the Ezra used to zone the members of Absolute Zero away. Vanix securing the top side turret. Don't forget bottom lane. Flash SG managed to also penetrate down bot. Absolute Zero on the other hand. Once again, back to sieging, but don't forget, they're just gonna handshake into this team fight. JPL getting busted out by Silas, picking up a double kill. Ken goes down next, and now Curtisi and Vanix, they got linked together by Vendetta on the CC. Their HP bars getting shredded by that CC, and Vanix will be able to slip on away for now. But Buji braving the turret, inching towards him. Vanix trying to make a play right here. The stun will not be able to land it, and Silas picks up a Maniac.
That's big! Coming into a very lifeless early game. They picked up a Maniac coming in at 8 minutes into this game and has managed to tally out the score, tally out the gold, or rather the economy.
Oh no. AD is supposed to use the last insanity right there. Should be able to get on safety just to use it for a wave clear. But for now, you know, Absolute Zero penetrated right in the middle of the map against Flash SG.
I think that they are going to be fine. It is still going to be a ping-pong show for these two teams, as they are just winning and losing and winning and losing at the same time. But let's take this opportunity to take a look at some of these itemizations, shall we? With two of the items already built up from the side of Moscow, with the Corrosion Scythe as well as the Golden Staff. While for the Granger, we're looking at a Hunter Strike as well as Sky Piercer, and even the Malefic Roar. We're looking at 1.6 thousand gold lead between Silas and Vanix. That's a big deal.
Yeah, but Moscow's items are a little bit more cheaper. For Silas, technically speaking, as long as he doesn't die, yeah, he has like 5 kills to himself. So we talk about the Sky Piercer value, it is almost as valuable as an item for now. The execution damage is really something that Flash needs to look out for.
So we'll see how that is going to work out, and we talk about the Sky Piercer onto the effects of how little HP Xbox has.
Diverger is sending everybody over the side of Hades. Hades goes into the Firaga armor mode, but Curtisi will be able to burst down Rapidos. Vanix will be able to 1v1, shutting down Silas in the backline. Vendetta on the chase, trying to chase after Vanix, or even Curtisi right here. Can try to peel for the team, but Buji will be there. But at the same time, Vanix trying to push away Vendetta. Is that a floating Granger? But in the meantime, right now, Vanix in a spot of trouble. Vendetta will be able to secure the kill onto Vanix.
You know, Granger used to tell his parents, you know, when I grow up, I want to be an astronaut. Indeed, he did.
That's a very interesting bug. That makes my day. But now Curtisi in a spot of trouble. This time around, Vendetta on that CC, spreading the damage though. But turns out he's running out of steam, and Last Insanity will be able to secure that Kiro there. Rapid flickers forward, but he gets kicked instead. But not enough follow-up damage from the side of Flash SG. But JPL will be trying to tag onto Ibuji. The duality proc coming in. Oh! Silas making up the execution from a shot from downtown.
Yet another yin-yang reaction that happened in the last second between the Cho as well as the Xbox. But unfortunately not quite enough damage nor range for Silas to throw yet another Death Sonata right into their way. So far, back and forth again, right? We're looking at about 600 goal lead in favor for Team Flasg, but with the fact that Absolute Zero currently, they do have got the opportunity and the chance to be able to hold on to the Lord and get themselves quite a bit of the priority. Hades is probably going to come in soon.
Here, can see play right here. Last Insanity Nuts just secures a lot for themselves. Rapid to down low just a little bit. Ken will be able to tag. Oh, that's only misses. Not in sync coming up from side of Flash SG. Now they have around Nabuji. The Yin Yang overturn will be able to turn JPL down to his grave. And Hades right here, but Vanix is racking havoc around the objectives, taking down mid lane turret.
Very good split decision coming from Vanix, realizing that they have already lost the battle, as well as the fact that the SOD, the SOD missed. Might as well just look for external uses, or rather external ways of tallying out the scoreline. So getting themselves the T1 in the middle lane definitely is super big for them, considering the fact that they still have their own T1.
Yeah, there's so many siege minions. Thanks, thanks Observer for pointing that out. Top side, they need to Flash SG needs to deal with that turret right there. But with that, they're gonna lose the mid lane turret though.
Unfortunately, they will still lose that. With most of the members from Flash currently hunkering down underneath of their own base, Hades being the only one that is slightly more daring to be burning the water elemental boss down.
But this time around, he gets tagged around. Hades down low without his Viraga armor. Das has the immortality. But oh, Nan gets kicked by JPL. Vanix will be able to secure that kill for now. Kurtizi taking that one. Wings by Wings will try to press forward, try to chase down Absolute Zero. But then again, Flash SG is too busy defending.
As they slowly move on over, 12 minutes and 40 seconds. We do have Absolute Zero. They tried their best, of course, to just run for the hills and back home again. They did an amicable push down in the top lane. It brought the turret all the way down to close to about 10%. They didn't manage to bring down the T2 in the middle lane, though, but hey, that's fine. As long as they manage to get the T1 in the middle lane, I think that is already a very big consolation. However, though, one thing that we always consider is that the very first Lord that you pick up, you want that Lord to be able to push down all of the exterior turrets, which in this case, Absolute Zero did not manage to.
Right now, once again, you know, it's a stalemate. Back to basics, back to zero, literally. Absolute Zero going up against Flash SG. 10-10 is the kill score. Goal lead wise, more or less the same. Items wise, I think in terms of power spikes, they're more or less the same. But don't forget, as a Moskov, you get more with lesser. Your items are a little bit more cheaper. The Wind of Nature already secured will do wonders against if Vanix wants to do a 1v1s against Silas.
As right now, Silas does not have the wand, but I think that that's gonna be fine for now, because we're not always gonna be, if not, we will never see that 1v1 between the marksmen unless that both of them is the last member remaining. So in most situations, we are looking for back from front to back in some of these situations. However, Flash SG, what they have for themselves is actually some pickoff within of their mix because of JPL. However, the main way that they want to play is that they want to kind of death ball it with Vanix's spear that pierces.
To play, JPL takes Muji but doesn't follow up right there. But Kurtizi, the feather airstrike, deals the damage. SOD will go white for now. Silas will get tagged on by Ken. Rapido tried to peel it for the team, but Hades and also the rest of the members on the side of Team Flash will be able to deal with the CC coming up from Absolute Zero. And now Silas tries to gun down the members, but they have already lost too much. They lost 2 members.
2 members down. That means the Flash SG have got a free walk over to the Lord, and also a very free turret, almost free turret actually, down to the bottom lane, as that was a very heavy push. But at least Rapidude, Nan as well as Silas did manage to deal with that pretty effectively.
Yep. That JPL kick really saved, just really broke that stalemate right there. Don't forget, both of these 2 compositions heavily relying on their pit comms, right? Now it's like a Russian roulette kind of thing. It's either Rapidude or JPL is making the game for both these 2 teams. If JPL gets a pick off, good pick off, mind you. If you pick off Rapidude, that doesn't make sense. But right there, he was able to pick up Bucci. That's what makes the absolute difference right there.
So at this point, I gonna have to really think that it's not everyone is fair game. Rapidude has to focus onto a very specific player, right?
Yep.
In the previous game,
he's doing that. Kurtizi gets dragged, and now he gets stunned. Nan will be able to catch you right there. And don't forget Vendetta coming in the backline, but don't forget the Lord is actually pushing down bot. Flash SG is more than happy to take this team fight, and Absolute Zero is falling for it. Vanix picking up Vendetta, and now it's going to be Absolute Zero trying to go for the defense. Fuji Pick gets taken down by Flash SG, and the Lord finally secured by Absolute Zero for now. They are safe, but not too sure for long.
The Lord takes the L. Middle lane creep waves marching in and should be able to deal with this T2 with no issues whatsoever.
Yep.
It's currently 16 minutes into this game. The bottom lane T3 has already have definitely seen the better of this day. Currently down to about 40% HP. Just a harder sneeze should be enough to bring it down.
Yeah, but Flasg, relying on the Lord, they don't really have a lot of pushing power. Surprisingly, right? Like Absolute Zero, you thought that they don't really have a lot of wave clear, but seems like, you know, Flasg is having a lot of trouble trying to crack down the basis of Absolute Zero.
Yeah, the thing is, they have a composition that does pretty well as a siege comp, with the fact that they have the faster and also with the Moskov. I think that Moskov really requires that Malefic Roar before he can realistically be able to touch these turrets with great ease. Because at this moment in time, if he were to touch the turrets, he's actually a little bit closer to the team fight than if he has the Malefic Roar.
JPL just scouting out information, but feels like Absolute Zero is just stacking S5 around in the mid lane. It's up to how Flasg balance out these waves.
With the creep waves now completely cleared out, the jungle creep that is, with Absolute Zero just kinda hiding and hunkering down within of their own base, Team Flash, they're not too interested in overextending too. So hiding in their own brushes will be a good call, while they wait for the upcoming Lord, which will happen somewhere in 20 seconds.
Stuffing out information, that's exactly what Flasg is trying to do against Absolute Zero. But I think it's easy to predict where Absolute Zero is. They always have the habit of stacking S5 across all around the board. If you see one, rest assured the rest of the members should be there.
As of now,
Hello?
Flash is somewhere in the map, but Absolute Zero, they themselves have no idea.
See this purple circle? Okay, diversion play right there. Nobody from Team Flash will be able to see it. Consume play right there. Also going to mess everything up. Vanix, the main target from the side of Absolute Zero, will not be able to find him though. Vanix and Curtis is safely tucked away behind the front liners, and now JPL will be using the consume play of themselves. Absolute Zero committing a little bit too much for that one.
The grab also didn't manage to unfortunately pull anyone closer over to the rest of Flash.
Sorry,
Pause.
sorry.
Pause.
My elbow
Pause.
touched the pause button.
Unpause.
You look like you're gonna worship an unpause called right there. But it is nail biting, right? Even though Team Flash, you thought that they had the advantage, but it seems like nope. It feels like Absolute Zero can easily turn the tide around because of Buji as that Lo Yi.
I do think that they have that surprise potential, right? They can just kind of pop by from behind and surprise kind of thing, right? But
Surprise.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah, some fries.
Yeah.
Some fries, right? Oh, okay. So, thank God that was a very short pause.
Looking for some prize right here. Nan, ooh, getting busted down for the side of Absolute Zero. Flasg this time around is a red carpet for the Lord. I don't think Absolute Zero will try anything weird unless you're talking about Silas Death Sonata try to steal that Lord. He had the idea. JPL blocked it.
Unfortunate. But I think that is fine. However, what's not fine is the fact that now Absolute Zero, they are in literally Absolute Zero. Because they are now all the way back home in their base. Not exactly a barren wasteland just yet. However, the middle lane and the bottom lane T3 is currently not in the best state. With the Lord, and oh, by the way, this is Luminous. Wait, it's not Luminous. Wait, it is Luminous. Wait, is it Luminous? Luminous is 20 minutes. 18 minutes. Luminous Lord is marching down. So that turret in the bottom lane, guaranteed down. Middle lane, not guaranteed. However, the waves are moving in together, especially the top lane. As you see, we already have a very strong, slow push. Okay, maybe not that slow, but we have a strong push that is coming in. Salas managed to clear that out, but they still gotta have to watch out for this upcoming wave, which will do quite a number to their base.
It's a very easy way for the side of Absolute Zero to freaks it unless JPL has
KP.
something else. He is the zoner,
L.
and he will be able to zone the rest of the members out. Absolute Zero bottom lane already cracked open. Mid lane looking to fall very, very soon.
Oh,
Kurt
but-
Easy
oh,
right here.
ow!
Oh, he gets tagged out. Hades bursts down the CC from the side. Absolute Zero. Kurt Easy pick out Silence, and now it's gonna be Team Flash going in ham onto the core, and there's nobody from the side. Absolute Zero to defend this as Flash SG goes up to the grand finals in a beautiful head and shoulders wide.